MacVoices at NAB 2026. From NAB in Las Vegas, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices. We found Jim Tierney walking around the floor aimlessly. So we naturally put him on camera. Jim, it's good to see you.
Good to see you. I'm basically a free-range chicken at this show.
A prearranged chicken?
Free-range chicken.
A free-range chicken. Okay.
We have no booth. We have no land or country. We were just roaming around.
Yeah, well, that's okay. There's a lot to see, right? You know.
Yes. There is, yeah.
Yeah. So what's new with Digital Anarchy?
So we just released ShotNotes, which is a panel for Premiere Pro for basically organizing thoughts within Premiere. So basically a notepad for Premiere with the notes attached to your sequences, and their time code, and there's also the notes can have time code in them, so you can link to other sequences or even other projects. You can link to web links in there, link to stuff on the web, obviously. There's time tracking, so you can actually say, hey, like color correction, start a timer and figure out how long that takes you, for basic time management or invoicing or stuff like that. So it's basically just a kind of way of editing or organizing within Premiere Pro and saving, all of your thoughts within Premiere Pro instead of in a notebook or Word document or sticky notes or a lot of the things that people use to keep track of what they want to do or are going to do or needs to be done.
So does the information travel with the project? I mean, is it embedded in somewhere, or is it a sidecar file?
No, it's totally embedded in the project. So if you're sharing it, you can share the project with somebody else, and they'll get the notes. If they have a copy of the project, you can save the notes out and send them just the JSON. They're all, you save it out as JSON, which is sort of the native format for ShotNotes, and send that file to the other editor, and they can load it in to the project. Assuming it's the same project, it has to be the same project. But assuming that, then they can just load it in and see what your notes are and share ideas and what needs to be done and all that stuff.
That's a lot nicer, like you said, than trying to do a notes file or a Word file or something and then send it along, have it get lost. It's all right there in the project, and every note is where you want it.
Yeah, and what we heard from a lot of our users, especially when we were doing Transcriptive, is that people were taking notes, in notebooks or Word docs, and I mean that's kind of the common way of doing it. I mean, if you're using like Frame.io, that has a note-taking mechanism inside of it, but if you're not using something like that, there is no real notepad mechanism within Premiere. I mean, you can use markers, and the notes actually do create markers as well, so they'll fit into a marker workflow. But it's kind of like just markers on steroids. So it's kind of a cool way of organizing your project.
You kind of took the question out of my mouth, because I'm thinking, okay, markers are sort of like this, but they're limited in what they can hold and how much space you have and all that. So I love this idea.
Yeah, I mean, markers are great, but they're limited. They're not rich text. You can't put time code to another sequence in a marker, which I think is one of the really cool features of ShotNotes. But also with ShotNotes, you can export all the notes out as a PDF if you want to send that to somebody else, which you can't really do with markers. So there's just lots of ways of, like once you have the data in there, like what can you do with it? Just more robust way of adding your thoughts and what needs to be done and all that stuff to your project.
So that's what's going on with ShotNotes and Premiere. What else have you done, or what are you doing, other than just keeping on improving what you've got?
Mostly just improving what we have. I mean, we're working on new AI features for Beauty Box. That's kind of the stuff that's in progress, and just sprinkling AI on everything as everybody is doing these days.
I know we've had that conversation a couple times, but I'm curious as to what your feelings are on it now, because back the last time we talked about it, it was kind of new. It was, well, I'm not so sure about this. And now everybody's using it. Everybody's familiar with the security concerns and all of those things. How do you feel about it?
It depends on what you're talking about when you say AI. I mean, like it's a big, huge thing, right? So you have generative AI, which is a thing. I don't think on the professional side it's super usable right now. I mean, you can do some basic things with it, but more often than not, it's just easier to go out and shoot it. Although, I've seen stuff like where people will shoot on a green screen, the actor on the green screen, and then, use Gen AI to drop in the background. And I think it's probably great for that type of thing, or for like random B-roll where you don't really care exactly what it is. You just need something back there. But, like as far as like using generative AI to like create films, I think is a long ways off, actually. If nothing else, for no other reason than, you can only create 8 seconds at a time currently. I mean, that'll change and it'll get better and like whatever, but I think that's a ways off. In the short term, I mean, there's lots of other older school AI, which is what we're using for Beauty Box, like face parsing and figuring out where the mouth and the eyes are, which is, like I said, sort of older school AI. It's not the LLM type of generative AI stuff. And that stuff is super useful and has lots of great uses. Even the generative stuff, I mean, on the coding side, it's a useful tool to kind of speed development up. It's still makes lots and lots and lots of errors, so you still actually need a programmer to like put the pieces together and actually write the core code and all that. But it's definitely speeding the process up. So, I mean, there's lots of ways that, I think AI is going to kind of like infiltrate in and make life easier. But, it's also not a magic bullet either.
Right.
It's not just going to like solve everybody's problems and make editors obsolete, all that stuff.
I would think when you said you were working with it in a Beauty Box, it's like, well, that would be the perfect thing, because now we're seeing so many generative things, but also, face corrections, even in my world in podcasting, for thumbnails, they're manipulating faces, and probably 85% of the time it's not too bad for that. You're not going to put it up on a huge movie screen.
Yeah.
But
yeah, sure. I mean, a lot of that stuff is there. I mean, do you want to use it? I mean, the thing about Beauty Box is it's not generative AI. It's just kind of a layer of digital makeup. So we're not actually trying to recreate somebody's face, which I think gets fairly inauthentic. And do you really want to do that as a podcaster, or, all that? But you can do stuff like eye whitening and teeth whitening and all that has nothing to do with generative, and it's just taking the original footage and just kind of cleaning it up a bit. So, it's a little bit different than the generative AI.
Yeah.
Make me look like 15 pounds lighter type of thing.
Or 15 years younger.
Well, I mean, Beauty Box is kind of trying to do that with digital makeup, right? But I mean, we usually say like 10 years in 1 minute, right? I mean, like you start getting beyond, you're not going to make somebody who's 40 look like they're 20. So, I mean, that's just, that's generative AI. If that's what you want,
yeah.
If you're 40 and you want to look 20, okay, generative AI.
Yes.
There you go. But if you just want to take the edge off of like what cameras add to skin texture and all that stuff, then that's what Beauty Box is designed for.
The website where folks can go to learn more about Beauty Box and ShotNotes and everything else.
DigitalAnarchy.com.
Great. Jim, it's good to see you as always. Thanks for the time.
Yeah,
Take care.
appreciate it.
Folks, more from NAB in Las Vegas. This is MacVoices.
Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you MacVoices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.